I want to make money so I can give it to other people. So here's what I mean. I had this conversation with a close friend today, and we were talking about the idea of making money and how it's a very taboo thing. People say, you shouldn't talk about it or you shouldn't care about money. It doesn't bring you happiness, all these things. But in reality, money is just like water. If you don't have it, you're going to find life like very hard. Although it doesn't necessarily by itself bring happiness. It does, as a vehicle, bring you a lot of opportunities that can make you happy. So that's kind of my take on it. Again, I don't want to go too much into the philosophy of money, but essentially what we were talking about is how the value of money decreases as we age. For example, having $10 million dollars when you're 70 years old is very different to having $10 million dollars in your 30s. And it's because when you're 30, in your 30s, you're going to have much more opportunities to actually use the money for things that you either enjoy or for people you love. And by the time you're 70, the sad reality is that if you even want to spend on loved ones, some of them may have gone already. And I mean, that's just kind of like the hard truth. And the reason I bring this up is because one of my goals in my life is to retire my parents. And obviously, like for that, if I have $10 million dollars by the time I'm 70, it doesn't really matter. It's not quite the same. And so time is such an important aspect when it comes to the idea of money because as time goes on, the value of money decreases. And this is a concept that I don't find people talking a lot about. And people kind of just go throughout life through the ebbs and flows without thinking too closely about it. Because I mean, if you do, you kind of end up with just a very large sense of urgency, or at least that's what happened to me. And the reason that I mention all of this has nothing to do with, just materialistic desires. Sure, there's always going to be a part of that for everyone. But for me, the reason I want to make money is exactly as this title suggests. So I can almost give it to other people. And the reason I say this is I've just kind of been daydreaming recently about the idea of making money. And I'm just trying to visualize what would my life look like if I made 20, 30K a month. And sure, I would probably go travel, eat steaks or whatever. But a large part of that would be to retire my parents or just shout my friends to a trip. Just in the friendship group, hey, let's go to Bali, tickets on me. So when I thought of these situations, it genuinely brought a smile to my face. And it just made me so happy that if I could just do this. And that would bring me much more fulfillment than anything else, than traveling and buying expensive cars, than staying at luxury hotels. All of that pales in comparison to actually just spending money on the people that I care about, the people that I love. And there was this other event that really drove this point home, which is this morning I was talking to my mum about the idea that I was probably not going to continue medicine. I'm taking a gap year, trying to pursue something else in business. And she was quite against it, as all Asian parents are. And after some back and forth, I eventually just said, in 3 years, I'll give you 50K in cash every year so you can retire. And instantly when I said that, her entire mood changed. She was all happy all of a sudden. She was like, oh yeah, I'll spend it on this. And she just started playing along with the situation. And I realized that for a lot of the people who care about, especially parents, they've sacrificed so much of their life trying to bring us up. And part of that, and not just part of it, a huge part of that, has been doing things that they didn't enjoy. Doing things that meant a lot of sacrifice to them. For my parents, it meant going to a new country, taking very low minimum wage jobs just because they didn't speak the language, and so they couldn't find a job here. And now, even though they speak English better, they still find jobs that are very tiring and taxing, and they pay only moderately. So, just being able to retire my parents and give them that financial freedom would mean a lot to them, and it would mean a lot to me as well. Being able to give back to them. And so, all in all, the reason I'm sharing all of this is genuinely because the reason I'm so motivated to make money is because I want to give it to other people. And that's kind of my drive to try and be as good as possible at the things I'm working on for example, on YouTube at the moment. But just any work I do. I may do other work down the line. But right now, it's just being as good as possible at my job, continually find new opportunities, so I can continually pave the way to make this fantasy a reality.